Hello, I hope you're having a lovely day. This evening I'm going to teach you how to do a bit of a spotlight smoky eye look. So if you want to grab some brushes and a palette, you can do it along with me. And before I get onto my eyes, I'm just going to throw a bit of a base on. So I've got a lot of texture and redness still in my skin at the moment. I think it's just the perils of being inside. So I'm going to really quickly cover that up with some CC cream all over. And then I want to get stuck into spending as much time on my eyes as possible. Now, the nice thing about this that I'm going to show you today is that it's a lovely smoky eye shape, but it actually looks a bit nicer when it's a little bit messier. So there's no need to worry about everything being neat and tidy. It's really quick, and even though it doesn't take long to do, it gives a really lovely finish. So I'm just going to make sure I've got a nice even coverage with this. As I'm sure you've seen, I tend to go a bit warmer on my CC cream than my complexion actually is, just because I like to wear a bit of tan on the rest of my body. So you can see it's actually matched quite nicely to my neck. And now that I've buffed it in everywhere, I'm just going to go back in and press anywhere that I want a little bit more coverage. And then I'm going to go all over those eyelids. Now, I'm really determined to show you these eyes in full today. So I'm not going to do too much to my complexion. Let me just get that excess off. I'm going to set it with a bit of powder. And then if I've got time, I'll come back and add some bronzer and all of the rest of it. But I'm just going to keep this nice and sealed. And I'm going to really pay attention to sealing in that eye area so that nothing spills into any fine lines as I'm working away. Okay, so first of all, while I'm in that general area, I'm just going to do my brows and my liner so that they're done. So I'm going to take a little bit of pencil through the brows to just fill out any uneven gaps. This is quite a thin pencil, so what I'd say is when you're doing your brows, the thinner the utensil is that you're using, the more natural and hair-like the finish will be. And then the thicker the pencil, the bolder the finish it's going to give. So keep that in mind when you're choosing what you're going to get yourself, if you ever find yourself looking for a new brow product. So I'm just running this through in little strokes and then making sure I take the brush at the end to just go over anything that's starting to look drawn on so that everything looks really soft and fluffy. I've put a bit too much there, but never mind. If I start paying too much attention to them, I won't get anything else done. So I'm just going to leave that. It's not quite perfect, is it? But that'll do. Okay, now I'm going to take, where have I put it, some black liner all the way through to just start everything off. I find that it's a bit easier to do this at the beginning, so that if I want to lift my lids and really get in there, I'm not going to have to touch my eyelids with makeup already on them and spill everything. So I've gone for a nice black liner to make that really smoky. And then I'm having to do this quite gently because I wear lenses and I don't want the black of the liner to press onto them. But you feel free to get right in there and get it looking nice and defined. Okay. So that liner is done. A little bit smudged on the bottom, but as I say, this is going to look nicer a little bit smudged anyway, so I'm not too concerned. Okay, I'm going to take, first of all, a flat brush, and I'm just going to take a really milky, I'm going to show you the palette I'm using. I've got a mixture of lighter and mid to dark shades. So I'm going to take a nice milky cream, flat, and just pat that on the middle part of this eye. So the middle part of your lid, I'm not taking it to either corner, is going to be for your lightest shade. And you can create this look with a number of shade combinations. I'm leaving those inner corners free. Now, I'm going to take a fluffy brush and a slightly fleshier shade, and I'm going to just create a soft, fleshy template through here. I'm sure you've seen me do this hundreds of times, but having something neutral there is going to be my buffer between the darker step-ups and the areas where I keep things a bit lighter. So I'm just going to take that very softly through the socket and make sure I'm kicking it out to those corners. There we go. Dad just woke up from his nap, in case you were wondering. He was fast asleep there, so I thought, I might as well just crack on and do this. But I think he woke up and thought, I cannot be bothered listening to that for the millionth time. You can imagine how much they have to listen to me. So that's him well and truly out of the room. Now I'm going to take a darker, this is a kind of mulchy brown, all the way under here. Nice and smudgy. No real need for this to be absolutely perfect. Get it right the way under there. And then I'm going to jam some of that on this inner corner and in these outer corners. Now you'll notice I haven't gone onto the lid itself. I've almost made a shape around the edge of the lid, and it's not the neatest thing in the world, and that's okay. Inner corners and this outer edge. Lovely. I did get a good chunk of that in my eye, which isn't ideal, but will be fine. Okay, and as you can notice, what we really want to do, I'm going to take that same blending brush from earlier on. I want this to be really mulchy and fluffy. So just soften all of that out so that there's no real beginning or end. Now that's almost kind of joined, but don't worry, I've got a solution for that. That's just me being a bit too haphazard, but I'm trying to show you how quick it is. I'm 9 minutes in. I'm not doing too badly here. Now I'm going back in with the exact same colour, and I'm just building up the very corners of the areas that I've softened out and blended. So what I want to achieve is that you can still see that initial colour, but it fades into a blend of nothing. So second time in, less blending this time. Yes, I want to soften it, but then I just want to leave it and not mess about with it. You can see how that's taken a nice hold, looking nice and grungy. Now I'm going to go in with something matte and a little bit darker and very gently press this into the very innermost corners of this style and out into these corners as well. I was just checking you could see me there, and by the looks of things you can. And as you can see, it's just giving it a little bit of extra depth and definition. And it's looking really nice and smudgy now. Just look nice and just like you've been out for a few hours and had a good time. I mean, obviously none of us are going out at the moment, but when we are back into our usual routines, this is such a lovely, worn in, sexy, smudgy, doesn't matter if you get it a bit wrong kind of makeup, which sounds like my cup of tea. Okay, so just coming back into the room a bit here. I'm going to take that blending brush that I used to apply that fleshy colour and just make sure that is feeling really buffed out, and same over here. I'm not going to do too much messing about with it. I'm just going to leave it like this. Now you can see that eye needs a tidy up, but don't worry, I've got something in mind for that. I'm going to take some Peaches pigment in nude and press that onto the lids. I'm against the clock now, but this is going to be great. I know I'm going to pull this out of the bag. Okay. Peaches pigment in nude all over that lightest part of the eye. And it's going to help to skim over any areas where I've made a few spills. Can you see what I'm doing here? Have I lifted that mirror too high? There we go. I'm going to leave it with no liner on. Yeah, I'm going to put loads of mascara on. Absolutely no, I'm not. I'm going to add another ingredient. I'm going to take a Peaches glitter in Hollywood, which for this spotlight finish, a touch of glitter, let me show you, really fine iridescent. A touch of that on those inner lids, right by the lashes, is just going to pick up so beautifully, especially at night time, in flash photos, things like that. So let's have that to look forward to one of these days. And for now, we'll use this time at home to practice. See, if we keep doing this every day, by the time we're all allowed out again, we'll have a makeup for every different day of the week, won't we? Right, loads of mascara, pile it on, go to town. Who cares if it's neat or not? This is going to look sexier and grungier if it's a bit squiffy anyway. Now I can see that I've got a bit of drop down on my base, which is to be expected. I've used lots of loose pigments and things. I would always usually, if I was doing something fussy, do my eyes first and then my base. But because I'm having a bit of a mare with my skin at the moment, I just wanted to cover it. But my top tip for you would be, save yourself the faff of having to correct it and just don't put it on until after you've done your eyes and tidied them up. Okay. Lovely. I'm just going to quickly sort that out. Okay, I've got 1 minute left. I reckon we're going to be okay. I feel like I want to put loads of lip liner on. So I'm going in with Peaches liner in Praline, which is really brown. Really creamy. Oh. Okay. And then a bit of gloss. I hope I finish this. I will. It might not be perfect, but I will finish it. Gloss in Tease on my finger. And there we have a lovely spotlight eye and a neutral lip. Okay, hope you enjoyed and I'll see you tomorrow.